Hi everyone, this is Dirk from MTGNostalgia here, and we're gonna have a look at another vintage Magic set today. This time it's gonna be about Fallen Empires. That's a set which came out at the end of 1994. It was the first expansion for Magic that I encountered, and sadly up until today it's one of the least popular sets in Magic. That was mostly because it was the first set that was printed in sufficient quantity. Up until then, up until the Dark and Revised, the Wizards of the Coast couldn't supply the local game stores with enough boosters and starters and so on, and they were very rare. And Fallen Empires was produced in such a high quantity that they practically flooded the market with it. Up until today, so 20 years, more than 20 years after its release, you can still get packs for it for like $2. Yeah. Back in the day, the cards you were probably looking for in that were from the rares, the storage lands, especially the red one and the black one, because red and black had the best ways to dump your mana into. So like burn spells or drain life or frozen shade. These were later reprinted, I think in Mercadian Masks as different storage lands, which were simpler to use. You can see that there's a big wall of text here. On the uncommon side, there were sack lands, which were also pretty popular. They saw quite a lot of play. And both the sack lands and the storage lands were reprinted in 5th edition, I think. I didn't play back then. But the most sought after cards in this set today would be on the common sheet. So you have Hymn to Torak, which is still today one of the most useful discard spells in Magic. For a time it was restricted to 1 copy per deck. Yeah. I think it's back to 4 copies now. And there's also Goblin Grenade, which is very high damage spell for only 1 mana. And then there's High Tide, which is a card that only rose in price, I think, after another set came out. I don't know which one from the top of my head, which introduced cards that untapped lands as they came into play, so that comboed well with this effect. Yeah. So let's get right to it. Open this pack and get to the source. Oh, another thing, one thing that Fallen Empires did is they tried to introduce original lore into Magic. So, for example, the first expansion, Arabian Nights, of course, they took from the classic stories of Arabian Nights, and well, the Dark delved into classic horror stories, and well, Legends introduced a bit of lore. But Fallen Empires, it was really flavor heavy set. So when we read the text on the back of the booster pack. In the southern oceans of Dominia Prime lay a continent of great kingdoms. Far from the war between Urza and Mishra, the lands of Sarpedia prospered. But as the climate changed, resources dwindled and empires crumbled. Hideous new species arose in the forests and seas, forcing the Sarpedians to fight for their very survival. Recruit these toughened warriors and vicious predators for your duels, but beware lest you fare no better than the Fallen Empires. TM. Yeah, so that's the story. Let's get into it. There are 8 cards in this pack. 2 are from the uncommon sheet, I think they are on top, and 6 are from the common sheet. There was no rare sheet, so pretty much if you have a U3, that means the card was 3 times on the uncommon sheet, it counted as an uncommon. If it was a U1, it counted as a rare. This is Orc, one of the biggest creatures for red at the time. You can see its drawbacks, and it was a rare, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, Breeding Pit, that's an uncommon. That was a pretty popular uncommon back then. It supplied you with 1 creature per turn, and the biggest black creature at the time was a Lord of the Pit, who requested that you sacrifice 1 creature per turn during your upkeep. So that comboed well with this. And also there were a lot of Thrall cards in this set that also gave you opportunities to sacrifice your creatures. So that was pretty good play back then. And here we have a Hymn to Turek. This is the top draw in the set, yeah. I think it's worth $1 or $2. Elvish Scout. You had lots of elves in that set. Ooh. Feral Zealot. Yeah. There were a lot of creatures that had an effect if they came through unblocked during your attack. There was a lot of merfolk introduced. So I think back in the alpha set you had a lot of Atlantis, but there was only 1 merfolk card. So Fallen Empires gave you opportunity to play a merfolk deck. Oh, there's another one. It's the same one. Fallen Empires cards had different artwork. I think there were at least 3 or 4 different pictures for each of the commons. They later scaled that down in alliances and homelands, and after alliances they skipped that totally. So there was only 1 picture for each card in the set. Oh, and there's an Orcish Spy. Yeah, I think you can play with them if you have some cards that allow you to use the top cards of your deck or so. So, hope you enjoyed this blast from the past, and see you next time.